Fighting like building leaders all around the world. Let us keep our dreams alive. Cause tomorrow's gonna be a better day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kectil Youth Podcast, where we bring you real voices, real stories, and real impact from young leaders across the globe. I'm your host, Nabila Abbas, and today we are heading to West Africa, to Burkina Faso, a country full of culture, strength, and youth potential, yet currently facing a serious and ongoing crisis. Today's conversation is not just about challenges, it is about resilience, purpose, and what it means to keep moving forward even when circumstances are uncertain. Since around 2015, Burkina Faso has been facing increasing insecurity due to armed group violence. Over time, this has spread across multiple regions, especially in the north and east, including areas like Djibo and Diabaga. In many of these places, daily life has changed completely. Some communities are cut off from basic needs like food, schools, and healthcare. Families have been displaced. What makes this situation even more complex is that, as Salif shared, people don't always clearly identify who is behind the attacks. They are simply referred to as armed groups. This creates a constant sense of uncertainty and fear. So that is why today we have invited Salif as a real voice. We want to move beyond headlines and truly understand what does it feel like to grow up, study, dream, and build a future in such an environment. Thank you very much, Salif. I'm really honored to have you in this podcast today. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
All right, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be with you this morning. We're here this morning. So my name is Salif Sanu. I'm from Burkina and I'm a graduate student from Agro Studies at the University of Kizerbo, which is located in Ouagadougou. So I'm in a French-speaking country. So this is what I could say about myself broadly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Salif. Once again, welcome to the podcast, and it is really pleasure to have you here. So, can you take us to your early life? What was your childhood like?
All right. So at the year of 4 or 5, I would say, I started going to school. I didn't spend much time with my children, my parents, because I moved to the friend's house of my father because of school. And like in the year, it is around like 4 months that I will spend with my own family. Apart from that, the rest of the year I will spend it with other people going to school. So this is how I grew up. And when I was living with my parents, when we are in vacation, apart from that, I will not have time, to stay with my parents. Always school until I grown up. Thank
Wow,
you.
that is very kind of, maturity you have been, facing since your childhood. So, uh, what kind of environment did you grow up in, like socially, economically, and culturally? We just wanted to know these backgrounds.
Okay, let's say the environment in which I grown up, eh, we have mutual help. It was where we're living. It was in the village, so people will help one another when it comes to works. It was I do remember when I did my primary school, that the main activity of the people that were living there, it was agriculture. So in the rainy seasons, people will be helping one another. You may not have work today, so you go to help your neighbor. And when it comes to yours, the person will come and help you too. And as far as the economy level is concerned, the economy level was very low because people were not earning much from what they're doing. They will spend my time working, but unfortunately, what they will earn it's very significant compared to what they've been doing. And most of them are they have a lot of work to do. They were, polygamous, like married to many wives, two, three, even four. I do remember my late father has four wives. So all of these were being experienced since our childhood when we grew up. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is like you being so strong while facing all these things. So, you also mentioned that your family faced struggles. Can you just share what those challenges looked like?
Okay. Like I was saying, first of all, we have poverty. We have poverty because you work, and if you're not able to gain from what you've been doing so far, how will you be able to live, you suppose? Because you don't have money. So the alimentation was somehow very poor. What will be eating the same thing, and it was very far from the towns. So sometimes they get even like the surprise. It's very difficult, very difficult. And the other thing also is like when you live in a polygamous family, we face many difficulties. Only one man, and we have many women. The children sometimes, they may have conflict or disputes among themselves. And sometimes also the conflict may be between our father and our mothers. So that really impacted us negatively. And when we see all of these, we're not happy. We're not happy because this is not a good example we've been given. So this is the challenges I've been facing. Thank you.
Of course, where there is poverty, one has to fight for the basic needs, and they have been, doing a lot of struggles while doing this. So, who influenced you the most growing up? Was there a moment where you decided, I want a different life? And also, we wanted to know what role did education play in your journey?
Okay. About the one who has influenced me the most, I would say it my father. Though I said I didn't spend much time with them because of school, but at any time he will be shouting at us because we are many children. I have my brothers, I have my sisters, and living in such an environment where you are not at peace. I personally I don't like being shouted at any time. So this really play an important role in my life. And because of that, I'm telling myself, whoa, no, no, I should not do like my father did. Sometimes it's true, you have to educate very well the children, but being beaten up or, shouted at any time, like you will not feel at ease at any time you are in the family. And this really, I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. And when I like talking about education, I could say thanks to education, I've reached the level where I am today. Well, since I've been going to school, I've also been taking as examples my teachers. And from there, All the transformation came up. Like education has been a transformative tool for me since primary school. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you are very right when you have just mentioned that you did not like shouting of your father in your childhood or might be in your adulthood as well. So this depicts that how mental health is also very important for young people across the world, and how even for children, this stigma needs to be discussed, that how their mental health are being affected while facing poverty, economical issues, and also their poor childhood system in their homes as well. So that is why Kectil always emphasize on the mental health as well, and they also have assignment uh, entitled with this topic. And also now this Sunday, a webinar is also coming regarding mental health. So yeah, we can try our best to propagate mental health in a best way so that people have the opportunity to speak about their issues. And thank you very much for being so brave while disclosing all these things as well, because you have been facing all these things in your childhood. So just moving to the section living in a conflict zone, because this is our main topic today. You mentioned that since 2015, your country has been facing violence and insecurity. We really wanted to slow down here and want to understand this deeply. What does a normal day look like now compared to before 2015? And how visible is the conflict every day in everyday life? Is it something people constantly feel, or does it come in waves?
All right. Thank you so much for that. Uh, like when we compare a normal day to, those of before 2015, it's quite different. So a normal days is quite different, nowadays compared to those of before 2015. Because people are very afraid of what is going on. When you take the kid, those who are living in towns, you not notice very easily, the struggle they are facing. But when we take the cases of those who are living in the remote villages, sometimes they don't have, food to eat, even simple water to drink, they don't get because they are like cut off of everything, like no connection at all. Even sometimes the network, like to get in touch with someone, you want to communicate, it is very difficult. But those compared to those who are living in the towns, yeah, they are struggling when it comes to basic needs like food because it become more difficult for them. It's harder for them. They have to work. Sometimes they will not even have something to do. You know, you have the ability to do the thing, the job, but because it has now become very difficult for everybody to get. So likely you are to be jobless, and this really impacted negatively the life of every day. Yeah, people will be struggling by nothing. So a normal day, I would say it quite different and very hard for people to live compared to before 2015. And the visibility, like I was saying, the prices of all the products are doubled. You will sometimes here in town, when you will be working, you will see some children or even some old men, some old people, they will begging for food. When you reach the traffic lights, people are there, they are begging. This really, you could say it affected people daily life. Thank you so much.
This is truly drastic, that how people does not even have basic uh, necessity of their life, food, water, what you have just mentioned, that how badly these things are being affected. So, to our audience, of course, uh, Kectil Podcast is a genuine platform. That is why where we want to have real voices. We want to have you young people as an ambassador of your country so that you can speak. We need no such, great news channels to have all these conversations. We just need to have a platform where at least young people should have their voice and they can convey their message to the world. Of course, through this episode, people would learn about Burkina Faso and this specific region which we have been discussing. So, how, as you can hear from Salif, that how things are being, drastic, how people are even unable to access their basic necessities of life. And this is truly, something very, uh, dangerous for their life as well for the future. So, have you or people around you ever been directly affected, like displacement, school closures, or loss of opportunities? How do families cope with this uncertainty?
Okay, like I've been saying, where we have that issue, you know, we have, school closure. Because of that, the school are compelled to close, to stop, because they are risking their lives. And sometimes, if you refuse, uh, you will regret it bitterly. Either they come and take you and go with you, or they'll kill you. And so, if you are aware of that, it's better, to pack your luggage and run away before they come. And that's why you will go like in towns. People in the village, they are no more, living peacefully. They are compelled to come in the village, in the towns. And that's why, like we're saying, you will see people begging for food because they have nothing to do. Imagine you were just an agriculture and you end up finding yourself in towns. What will you do? Like even like if there were something that you could learn and start improving it, this will even be better. But sometimes you get nothing to learn at all. And how will you live? So people are being displaced because of the current situation we're going through. So everybody has to take care of themselves. Who will come and help you? Nobody. Is it your father? Is your mother? All of them, they are looking for themselves. So unless the children, those who cannot take care of themselves, that the one that sometimes are with their parents. If you're a young man, a young lady, it's better for you to look for yourself, like we say here in Africa. So this how people cope with it. I- If you wait, nobody will come. So better look, fight for yourself, how you can live. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, when people are living in such a drastic situation, of course, they would look for their basic necessities, which is why they are begging for food and water, what you have mentioned. So, and now you have also mentioned that even now they have forced to close the schools and even they can kill people. Wow, like such things are happening around the world. Still in 2026, we can't believe that how far away we are in, attaining the peace in this world. So, of course, where there is a conflict or there is a war, there are some psychological and social impact as well. So, what does this situation do to you young people mentally? Do you see fear, hopelessness, or resilience among youth?
Okay. Thank you so much. So the impact on young people, as far as this matter is concerned, I can say I, they are the most affected, the young people, given that they are, tomorrow's future, and the trauma that they've been going through, uh, they develop, they can develop such a hatred, or a bad character. Imagine those who are really, been experiencing this issue. So they are psychologically impacted, the trauma. And when they're grown up, sometimes they can develop, hatred toward other people because of what they have experienced. And today you can see young people here in Burkina, because of the issue they have been facing, because of the challenges that have been going, because of that matter, even like if we tell them that it will come to an end, they hardly believe. They hardly believe. So this is really impacting, the psychology of young people very negatively. Thank you.
So, do you see any fear, hopelessness, or resilience among youth? Like how they are reacting?
Okay, so we can say more or less we still hope. More or less we still hope, depending on the living area. Like those who live in the town, when you tell them, well, yeah, we are likely to say, yeah, will come to an end. This matter will come to an end. But those who are still, struggling, still facing it, ah, sometimes if you don't pay attention, it can bring conflict. What they will say, you are not, going through it the same they are. So you may end up, in a dispute because of, the area in which everybody is living. So, but we still have that hope because things we can say now, uh, yeah, these 2 years things have been improving. We have hope that it will come to an end. So everybody has now to get involved, in fighting against this terrorism that we've been going through for a while now. And I know if everybody gets involved, it will be easier, to come to an end. And this is what we are currently doing. Thank you.
Yeah, that is great. Where there is a hope, of course, there could be some ways in the future as well. And of course, staying hopeful in such hard, situation is very, very important as well as very, resilient. So you said something very powerful that people don't really say who the attackers are. They just say armed groups. Why do you think that is? Does this uncertainty make the situation more difficult for communities? How does it affect trust between people, institutions, or even neighbors?
Okay. This is because the reality, differs from what people think, what people hear about. Like I will just taking the example of those who living compared to those who lives in the remote villages. So depending on where you are, maybe you just hear from mouth or from mouth to ear, or you will just, you know,
You said something very powerful that people don't really say who the attackers are, just armed groups. Why do you think that is? Does this uncertainty make the situation more difficult for communities? How does it affect trust between people, institutions, or even neighbors?
All right. Thank you so much for this question. Like I said, depending on where you are, you can give any name to those people. Those who are not here living in Burkina Faso, they will just call them armed group because they don't know really how we are facing the situation. So it really affects people's condition and become more difficult for communities, given that we don't we're not going to negotiate with them. And imagine if you are fighting against your enemy and someone that is not living within you may I will not say maybe the person will encourage them or the person will not help you to fight against your enemy. So it sometimes make it difficult for you to face your enemy because if other person could help you, you'll be able to fight effectively or to win over your enemy. So it become more difficult for us if people really keep calling them armed group or whatever they may call them back. It make it difficult for us. And as institution or trust, people, neighbors, it affect our relationship in a negative way because you don't really know who is your enemy. If I take the example of Burkina Faso with the neighborhood, from the east of the country, there are places where at any time you will see that we have some attacks. And because of that, you may not be able to trust very well your neighbors, and it affect our relationship with those people. It may be not between the government, but if the population don't pay attention, they will fight against one another. So we really don't want this to happen. So this issue really affect very negatively our trust in our institution as far as our neighbor countries are concerned. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, true that. Like when you don't know who the attackers are, it becomes difficult to fight with your enemy. You said it very well. So let's just talk about daily life challenges. What are the biggest struggles people face right now, like food, movement, education, jobs? Are there places people avoid? Are there restrictions on movement?
All right. So about the daily life challenges, the biggest struggle are food. Like I said, when you go to the street, you will see beggars everywhere because they have no food to eat. Even in the remote villages, because of that situation, many people, those who stay there, those who are still in the remote villages, sometimes it's difficult for them to have food. Because what they have, if it finish and there is no more provided, it will be very difficult for them. That's why some people have flown and they have come in the towns, but sometimes they are compelled to beg for food, and because of that situation, many schools have been closed. You cannot move from one place to another, or you cannot travel from far away from your living place. So it is very difficult. Sometimes, if you are not escorted by the army, you may risk your life because you don't know what may happen to you. So the security somehow is very difficult for people to be alone. Like if you have to move from a village to another, you need to be escorted by the army. Or maybe if the army is going toward that direction, you take profit of it and you get escorted by them. At that time, you are sure that nothing will happen to you. And I would say this not even is insurance because sometimes they may also have attacks, and everything, your life is at risk at any time you are moving. So it really affects the schools, the living condition of people here in Burkina Faso, mainly in the remote villages. Thank you.
Okay. So, for the global understanding, what do you feel the world does not understand about Burkina Faso? How would you remarks on it?
So I can say currently we really thank God that we are overcoming little by little that issue we've been facing for years now. So what the world doesn't understand about Burkina, in the past year, Burkina Faso were painted red by many people, but currently we can see there are some ambassadors that have been sent to Burkina. That means what we have faced many years, we are able to overcome it now. And Burkina Faso is becoming a place where we can hope for a better future again. So I'm happy about that. And I do hope that peace will be back very soon in our country, and many people will also know about Burkina, because as people keep coming, they will discover, and little by little, I know with union, we'll be able to overcome this situation that we going through. Thank you.
Okay, that is great. So, you chose to study English in a French speaking country, which is a very intentional decision. What inspired that choice? Did you see English as opportunity, empowerment, or something else? Also, we wanted to know that you have started your initiative, English Center Vision. So, you can talk about your vision in detail.
Okay. Choosing English is a passion for me to enhance my linguistic skills. Being living in a French speaking country since primary school, and I also my teachers, they encourage me. They Whenever I see them they're speaking English, I'm very happy. And I told myself one day I also want to speak English like them, even better than them. And since then it has become a passion for me. And the remark that also I had is that the French speaking countries, if I compare them to those countries that are speaking English, there is a big difference. I could say, like, those speaking English, they are more advanced in development than those who are speaking French. So it gave me a really action motivation to learn English so that I can widen my circle of communication. And I know also the challenges that we've been facing here is that, as in our country, we many of us we speak French, and sometimes people may be willing to do other jobs. They may have opportunities for job market, but because they don't speak English, English has become a barrier for them to apply or to do that job. And for me, initiating this project will help people. Sometimes they don't even need to spend my time if they are, I would say, they are consistent and they have a will to learn. It may not even need my time to do that. But because those who are training or those who have that opportunity to learn English, they don't do it. And when time comes for opportunities now, as far as jobs are concerned, it becomes a barrier for them. And to break that barrier, I know if I'm able, to bring it into pass, it's gonna help people to move forward with their businesses. Thank you.
Okay, that is great. We just wanted to know your personal motivation and future. Like you share that your fight is to overcome your family's struggles and create a better future. So, what keeps you going on difficult days? Do you ever feel like giving up? What brings you back?
All right. So many problems I've been facing, like I said, since my childhood. But whenever I feel giving up, what brings me back is that I am the hope of my family. And what I've been going through, what my family has been going through, I am the one who should bring the change. And whenever that, you know, hit my mind, automatically the motivation comes back. I'm not giving up. No way for me to fail. I shall be able to bring my family out of these struggles we've been going through since many years now. So this is the motivation that bring me back whenever I feel like giving up.
That is great. And that is very much, powerful and hopeful statement you have given. So, where do you see yourself in the next few years? And what impact do you want to leave behind while living in a conflict zone area?
All right. So in the future, I would like really, like in 5 years to come, I want people, like when I talk about the initiative of, setting up the center, I know this will be a place for me to impact the youth, mainly the youth. The youth is the future of the world. And if they are not well educated, if they are not well empowered, if the youth fail, the country or the world fails. So for me, bringing being able to bring up this initiative, the center, it will help me to impact positively the youth so that when I'm no more, people will remember what I was able to bring to the world, what I was able to bring to my generation. And I want it to be a continuity so that whenever I'm not around, when you see a young man, when you see a young lady, that person should give you inspiration. The situation that we've been going through, many people are depressed. They don't really know if they still have to live. So what I'm really planning to do is that regarding the depression people have gone through, they shall be able to overcome all the challenges, all the difficulties, and still be able to give motivation, to give hope to the younger generation, those will come after them. So this is what the impact I would like to leave behind me when I'm no more here.
Thank you so much, Salif, for your time and having such a very, productive conversation and also telling our audience about your country, conflict situation. So this remind us that how you as a young person are the true ambassador of your country. Salif, your story is not just about hardship. It is about courage, purpose, and vision. So, to our listeners, thank you for being with us today. This conversation reminds us that behind every conflict headline, there are real people, real dreams, and real efforts to create change. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and keep making an impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.